Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here, and today we're getting ready for our trip to Japan by planning, then experiencing the most personally fulfilling dream vacation. You'll be drafting cards of activities and placing them on the day with the best favorable conditions for them and with the other activities for that day. Let's Go to Japan is for 1 to 4 players or up to 5 players with the deluxe edition. It takes 45 minutes to play, is for ages 10 and up, and published by AEG. And it's on Kickstarter right now, so I'm going to show you how the game works, and I'll see you on the other side. This is a Kickstarter preview, so all the art and components here are prototypes, they're not final. To see all the most up-to-date art and components, check the Kickstarter link in the description of this video. Each player has their own board, and look, it looks like a calendar because you're going to be planning your activities on the different days of the week for your trip to Japan. Now randomly, there's different favorable conditions. Everyone is going to play with the same favorable condition for each day in the same game, but each game these will be different. And different conditions mean different things, like shopping is going to be really good on Tuesday because there's really good deals. Or if you want to go see plants or gardens, or shrines, or food, or unique experiences, there's better days than others for those. And as you experience those things, you'll be moving those tokens up. And if you get past certain spots, you'll be scoring points for those at the end of the game. The game is played over 13 rounds, and these are broken up into sort of 3 different segments. And most of the time, you're going to be drawing cards and playing and passing cards, sort of like a drafting game a little bit. So like in the first round, you're going to take a card, one of Tokyo and one of Kyoto. There's 2 decks of cards. These are the backs of them. On the other side is going to be different types of experiences. And so you'll draw one of each of these. You'll play one card into your itinerary, and then you'll pass a card. You're going to end up doing that 4 times. Then you'll end up picking up cards that the players next to you put on your board that pass it to you, and you'll continue going. So sometimes you're drawing from decks, sometimes you're drawing from your board that other players have passed you, and so on and so forth. And as you get towards the end of the game, you'll actually be able to sort of choose which of the decks that you draw from. But that's pretty much it. You're going to be getting cards from these decks, and you'll be playing them on your board and also passing some. So let's say these are the first 2 cards I drew. I have this one from Tokyo, this one was from Kyoto, and this one's more about food, this one's more about shopping, or experiences around shopping, like doing a photo sticker booth, or getting some food here. Now, these are going to have different things. They're going to have some certain icons on the top that are going to help you score bonuses if you're putting them in the day with those favorable conditions. And then you'll also get possibly bonuses for these at the bottom when that day is sort of completed or triggered. Let me show you how this works. So in the upper right part of your board is where the player that's passing you the card will place this. So you're going to end up having 4 cards there before you draw from those. But you'll do the same to the player to your left. About halfway through the game it switches and you'll be drafting, passing cards to the right as well. So I decided to place this on Thursday because the favorable conditions are that type of food on Thursday. This is going to help me get more bonuses because the more of these icons I have in Thursday, the better bonus I'll get. I'll show you that in just a moment. But typically what's going to happen is you're going to have up to 3 cards in a day. And as you place more and more cards in a day, you get to decide where you slot them, sort of first, second, or third, if you will. For example, let's say on the next turn I got this card, I wanted it. Now again, I could place it in any day, but it's going to be beneficial for me to place it in this day because of the favorable conditions for that day. Now I could decide to place it here, or I could decide to tuck it under and place it here. And this is important because at the end of the game, whichever card is sort of on top here, you're going to possibly trigger a bonus. So you're going to depend on what other cards are and how these interact with other days and other events. You're going to be deciding as you play cards which one is the ones that you're going to want. Sort of to be like the highlight of the day, if you will. It'll always be the last card. So typically you kind of do something like that, but you always have your bonus. So again, you can have the most you can have is 3 cards in a spot at once for the whole game essentially. But now if I was to put another card here, again, now I could either put it last, meaning this bonus is going to be the one that's the highlight of the day, or I could kind of slide it in between like this, or I could put it up top like this. It doesn't much matter for this specific example, but it does matter which card is the highlight of the day, which essentially is going to be the card on the top that you can read the bonus. Now again, this card could be played anywhere as long as there's less than 3 cards, and you can play any day at any time as long as there's not 3 cards. So the next card I could grab, I mean, even if I got this card here, I could theoretically place it here, even though it doesn't match this. It won't be great for bonuses, but maybe there's something else on the bottom that will make me want to do this based upon what I've done earlier that week. So again, each round you're going to be drawing cards and then playing some, passing some. You're going to be doing that all through the game. Now, when you have 3 cards in a day, you can check to see if you have any day bonuses. Now, this one I'm sort of setting up for good for end game, because what this says, remember, this is the highlight of the day here, and it's gonna say if I have 4 of these, which I do, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm gonna get 8 points, and I'm gonna be able to move the gardens experience marker up, which is going to help me possibly score points at the end of the game. Now remember, this doesn't score till the end of the game when we actually go on the trip and experience this. Right now we're still just sort of planning this, but because I've got 3 cards, we're going to look at the day bonuses, if you will. Now remember, this is the favorable conditions, and we've met that 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Now, if we had done that just once, we'd be able to move our mood tracker. And so this is gonna slide 1 like that. Now, most of the movement on here and most of the points are at the end of the game, but that type of bonus allows us to do that. Now, if this ever gets here, we will reset this to the middle, but we'll move this up, and that means that we're gonna get 5 points at the end. So the more times you can hit the end of the track, the more times it goes up, the more points you get, but sometimes you might be moving left and having stress. And if you get to here, same thing happens. It resets and goes here. So depending on where your stress or where your happiness is, you'll get a certain amount of points at the end of the game. Now again, another main way to get points at the end of the game is moving these trackers up, and once they get to certain thresholds, they're gonna be worth a certain amount of points. Now, at the end of the game, if you get for 2 or more during this end of the day, you'll get one of these wild tokens at the end of the day. You can, end of the game, you can move one of these up 1 for every one of these wilds you have, possibly getting you to the next scoring threshold. Or you can take 2 of these research tokens. Now this is kind of cool because you can use these to draw 3 cards and then discard 3 cards. So it gives you more sort of options, if you will, on your turn, or if you have it at the end of the game, it's just worth a point. So giving you a lot more options. This one here, which is the one that we got, 3 or more. Now over the course of the game, you're gonna have to possibly be going between Kyoto and Tokyo. For instance, you'll notice this blue card, you can tell it's Tokyo, and these pink cards are Kyoto. Now, in the game, at the end of the game, you're gonna be placing train markers out. Now, everyone has a starting marker, and that's gonna be the first one to use. So anytime you switch from Kyoto to Tokyo or vice versa, you're going to place a marker. Now, that's the first one. Now, if we did it again, like let's say, for example, instead of this being in Kyoto, let's say it was in Tokyo. Now, even if it's the beginning of a new day, if we've switched, we must place a train token, and most of the time, these are gonna be -2 points at the end of the game. You're gonna do that at the end of the game, put all your train tokens. But if you got this bonus like we just did, you get to use the luxury train side of things, and instead of it being -2 points, it's +2, and it makes your happiness go up. So that's why a lot of times you might want to match the types of activities that you're planning for that day to the favorable conditions to try to get those good day bonuses. Sometimes you might have some cards that you've drafted and you might not like the ones you have. You could discard one and take one of the cards from either Kyoto or Tokyo and place it face down because you're going for a walk. Those are the back sides of the cards. Now, as we just saw, if we took this bonus, we could have taken the luxury train, or we could have gone on an extra walk, which essentially is allowing you to have 4 cards in a given day. Now, when you do go on a walk, you do get to take the research token, which does give you more cards, as I talked about previously. But you don't get that research token if you're taking that extra walk. So that's generally how you play the game. But at the end of the 13th round, you've placed your train tokens. You'll go ahead and start scoring each of the days, then your moods, and then your trackers, and, minus your trains, and then possibly a leftover token. So you'll be using it to help track your points here. So we'll start with like Monday here. And you can do this simultaneously if everyone knows what they're doing, but it's fun to let people talk about their day on Monday and what they did and sort of thematically talk about how their day was. So each of the cards here are going to give you a point, and they're going to have you go up on the certain, the experience track, if you will. So we're going to go up like 2 of these, but we're also going to have some stress, and we would get, we'd add up these points on that pad. So for this one, we would have gone to 2 here. We'd go down there on the stress. This one would go up 1, and we would go up on here because of that. And again, you'd be writing down these points, and here we would go like this. So that's interesting because we know we're going to at least get 4 points for what this is. Now let's look at the bonus on the highlight of the day card. And so here it says if we have at least 4 of these up until this point. So Monday is important because that means only we had Monday. In later rounds, we'll see it means that day or anything that day or before. So yes, we have 4 of these because we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're gonna get 8 points, and we're gonna be able to move up 1 on that gardens track there. So then we go to Tuesday. Now I'm not gonna go through and score every single one, but I am gonna point out some interesting things. Like this one is going for a walk. When you get here, at this point in the game, you can decide to flip it over, and you can decide to play it for its card. In this case, we're going to. If you didn't, you'd go up on happiness, and if it was the last card played, meaning the highlight of the day, you'd get 2 points. Well, this happened to actually work out for us, And now we look at this. We needed 3 of these icons for shopping, and we now have them. So we're gonna score 5 points, and we're gonna move up 2 on the unique experiences track. So different things tie together. So it's usually going card by card, scoring points, going up, moving your trackers up. But I'm just gonna show you some specific things here. Like on this one, we admire the 2 icons together at the temple. And look at this, we needed two of the temples and 2 of the shopping experiences. And that's up until this point, so Wednesday, Tuesday, or Monday. And we definitely have that with what has happened before this, so we're gonna score 8 points. So as you're placing cards, you're currently thinking, what have I done before? Or I'll put this here now, maybe I can get something in the day before there that matches that. So there's a lot of tactical things, but a lot of long-term thinking too. Now remember also that you're placing these trains every time you switch spots. So we went from Tokyo to Kyoto, we had to place a train. We went from Tokyo to Kyoto, even if it's the beginning of the day, we go here. Now these yellow cards are found in both piles, and they're whichever side you want to be. So in this case, we just took a train to Kyoto, we'll stay in Kyoto, but then we have to go to Tokyo. So you'll see those are minus points every time you swap to different spots. So as you can see, if by the time we got here, we had 1 of these experiences here, and 2 of these, which we did, we'd get 4 points, and 1 for every 1 of these that we had on the cards from this day and before. So we would add all those up. So you're trying to sort of combo things together with earlier days. Sometimes you're looking at, look at this, buy an exclusive item in the gift shop. If we had at least 2 of these before this day, or all the way before here, could be part of this day or anything before, look at this. The day before, we went to 2 expensive things. Now this one was a unique experience, but we also ate there, but it was expensive. We have 2 of these, great, we matched these, we're gonna get 2 points for every set of these 2. Like that's a set, so that's 2 points. And we would go and look basically for every set of 2 that we've activated up until that point, would convert into those points. So there's a lot of thinking as to how the game is very light, draw cards, pass cards, and play cards, but slotting them in the right spot in the right days and trying to trigger certain bonuses like this one. Obviously we got this from an earlier day when we went shopping, 5 points and 1 point for every 1 of those that we had activated up until that point like that. And that's pretty much it. You're gonna be doing that, and again, keeping track of all your points, all your days, and at the end, you'll be getting points again for how far you moved up on these specific experiences. And whoever has the most points at the end is the winner. Well, there you have Let's Go to Japan, and as I showed in the overview, you'll be drafting cards and setting up your daily itinerary of experiences, including your highlight of the day. Now, if you'd like to see the most up-to-date art and components and all the different pledge levels available, you can click the link below me right in the description of this video. Now, that's going to take you directly to the Kickstarter page, and I'm sure that AEG would love your support.